Ooh, welcome back. So I just picked up my new fins from the mailbox and I'm waiting for Jake to get here. So I'm gonna open this up and we'll get started. Oh yeah. So I just got sent this new set of fins from Soriatec out of Spain. Pretty excited about this. Fish cut end RTS system. So it's actually textured on both sides. So that's more for spearfishing, whereas the smooth ones are more for freediving. Of course, both work for both, but the texture helps you kind of grab water and push it a little bit more efficiently. So these are made specifically for spearfishing, and I'm really excited to try these out. They're the same ones I've been using for the last couple years, but I needed a new set. Soriatec was kind enough to send me a pair, so let's go check them out. Whoa! Look at the size of that thing. Thanks, cats. That's gotta go. And right on cue. Top of the morning.
How's it going, dude?
Good, how you doing?
All right, yeah.
Get some sleep?
Oh, early last night.
Makes one of us. Just picked up my new fins.
Oh, you got new fins, new suit?
New fins, new suit. Thanks, Pops, for putting that together for me in a pinch. Appreciate that. New watch, new shaft, new wishbone. Yeah. But you know how these things go.
Yeah.
The better prepared you are,
The worse you do.
you know.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go out there and float around a little bit today. We have no expectations.
No.
No. I'm gonna shoot a tape or something.
Yep, probably.
That's it, yeah. All right, I'll drive, throw your stuff in my truck and we'll roll.
Yeah.
Jake's new hand line, check that out.
Yep, I hope it works. Otherwise, I might just drag around more plastic and lead all day.
Classic. We don't know what we're doing. We got a bag of fish frames and a new bag of ice. And we have really got to figure out how to get ice for free because $8.50 a bag is getting outrageous.
Stupid.
So it has been pounding rain here the last couple of days. So we had to change locations. It's a little bit blown out. So we're gonna give another spot a shot and just see if it's doable today. We'll see when we get there. It might be a little bit murky, but it's all right. It's definitely a little bit murky and blown out, but it looks calm enough to get in. I got a pretty good feeling about it out there. It's nice and clear in the skies. So.
New suits are so tight, so comfortable. Oh, I did it. Woo.
And here we go. So this is not my warm-up drop, but it is my first deeper drop of the day. And we picked a zone that's in the 65 to 75 foot range. And I'm dropping down here and I'm telling you, I am not feeling comfortable. It's just one of those days where I can't get my breath under control and I don't know why. I don't know what the factors are. I felt very relaxed coming out here. I prepped myself really well, but that's just the nature of it. Some days are going to be really easy and some days are going to be really hard. And that's kind of true with anything, is that there's this cycle that we go through of whether it's strength or mental clarity or fatigue and endurance, breath hold, right? It's all cyclical. There are times when you're going to be really, really on it, and there's times that you're going to really struggle, and we don't always know what the factors are. We just kind of have to move with it. And if you're really not feeling it, like I'm not feeling my breath hold today, I'm not going to try to push myself super hard. I'm just going to listen to my body and just accept that, hey, I'm not going to have a 2-minute breath hold today. I got some that were in the upper range of that, but I'm not trying to push myself too hard out here. My body was just telling me to take it easy, so I did. I'm going to honor that cycle and just get in touch with myself and view this as a practice because it is still really pretty out here and I have a lot to gain. And here's that hand-line Siddiqui rig that Jake just bought and put together. I'm going to see if he can pull anything up on it. And he drops down for his first deeper drop of the day after getting a couple bites but landing no fish. So he's going to go shoot something, we hope. And sure enough, he comes up with a real fat goatfish, a veke.
Yeah, that veke. Nice one.
Now, as I'm doing my breathe up here, getting prepared for my next drop, I am fully committed to embracing the discomfort this time. I'm not trying to avoid it or get around it. I'm just accepting it for today. And I remind myself that only the mediocre are always at their best. And then this fat broomfish shows up. He's been following us around a little bit, and I thought, hey, that'd be hilarious to do a catch and cook with that guy. I haven't shot one of these guys in a long time. They're decent eating. They're really easy to shoot, and they're really easy to pull up. They do not fight. They're kind of like shooting a frisbee. And he tangles up just a little bit, easy retrieval, and I head back up. And stay tuned, we're going to do a real fun catch and cook with that guy later, because I thought it would be a really unique one after I finish dragging him all the way to the surface. Still feeling very uncomfortable, but well within my boundaries for today. Just practicing discomfort. That is the theme of the day. And thanks, Jake, for coming down and check to make sure I'm okay.
Polytoxin for dinner?
And those blue spots are bright blue in real life. Very pretty. So this is my very next drop. I'm dropping it down into pretty much the same zone, and we're finding these really fat moo in the distance are curious, but they're not coming in. So I'm going to see if I can play with them, hide in the right spot, keep my head down and throw some sand. But I really need some food today, so I'm not going to be too picky. And this fat table boss comes in. I can tell it's going to be an easy shot. He gives me exactly the shot I need. And then he plays Boy Scout, and he starts practicing his knots all over these coral heads, and he does a really good job knotting himself up. And good thing it was early on in my dive, and I was very cautious to make sure I didn't get tangled in the line as I go, and I take one knot out at a time and throw the line behind me. Getting tangled could be disastrous, but I avoided it and head back up with him.
That was some work. Got him. Oh, yeah.
And I forgot to get a picture of him, so that's the best I can do today. So now Jake and I both have a couple fish already, so we're doing okay with some fish on the Kui. So we're going to start being a little bit more selective, and we start playing the moo game. So I find a great place to hide. I put my head straight down, fins and gun on the reef, throw some sand, and try to get him to come in before I spook him. And I'm looking around, and he's nowhere to be seen. Bit frustrating, and I don't really have the breath hold to hold out for him today like I normally do. So I have to really work on my hunting technique. I'm trying to stay calm and stay low. I'm looking, and I just don't see anything worth shooting at all. Look behind me, and there he is, way up in the water column looking down at me. I don't have it in me, so I'm heading up. But I'm going to head back down here and try him again. A little different spot, aiming for the sand. They love it when you dig in the sand in the boulders. I have my flasher on my pinky. Lots of fish around. There he is again. That big old shadow above me, he's looking down. So it's really hard to hide from him because normally they hang out just above the rocks and you can hide from them. But when they're above you like a helicopter, there's no hiding. He's way too smart for me. I go to take a lunge at him. I just don't have it in me. So I'm going to head back up. Try again later. And I'm sure a lot of you know this, but fish do have some weird sense of when they're being hunted. They know when you're after them, and if you don't believe me, then think of fish that are really easy to shoot that you never shoot all the time, and then decide to go shoot one. Guaranteed they won't come anywhere near you, and I don't know how they know, and I'm catching on to this drop, so I'm just down here practicing my diving. That's it. I'm not even hunting right now. This is just for fun, getting used to my discomfort. Now I'm going to try a different technique. I throw my flasher, I swim down and catch it, and I have gotten moo this way before, but nope, not this time. So because we're in a very bouldery area and we've been chumming fish frames for a while, the Neinuis will not leave us alone, which is fine, but they are kind of bullies and they do keep the other fish away from you, so they're not always the best fish to be hunting around. But that moo is still around, and this shadow comes in, and it happens to be another broomfish. But I just show him that I could have shot him, but I don't need another one. One is plenty for today, and I'm going to head back up. And in the meantime, Jake goes down and lines up on this fat moonoo and puts a good shot into him. Look at that thing.
That's a fatty. Nice one. You're on it today.
And if you don't know, Jake's a really big guy with really big hands, so he always makes his fish look small. So So we're kind of getting a little obsessed with this moo. There's a couple of them around, but they're really big, at least 5 pounds, and they're just way too smart, and it's like they're playing games with us. So we keep trying to find different places to hide, changing spots in the reef, and this is a really healthy reef structure with good coverage, good boulders, a good place to hide. And I'm throwing him squid fingers. He's way out in the distance over there, and I'm thinking he's going to sneak up to get a better view behind this rock. So as he disappears, I'm thinking I'm going to sneak up on the rock and head him off. If I do it very slowly and cautiously and make no noise, I slip up here as cautiously as I can and look over the top of the rock, expecting him to be there. But he's too far away, and he knows it. He's just over there laughing at us. This is the most annoying moo I have ever hunted. Oh well. So we've been shoving a big bag of fish frames all day, and it's bringing quite a lot of life in, including that moo. It's one of the reasons he's been hanging around all day. So I take a dive bomb here, and I chase him down. I have gotten big moo like this before, but just out of pure frustration or desperation, I take a long-range shot here, and I didn't think it was going to hit him, but it actually touched him, and that new shaft is shooting straight, so I'm back in business. That moo don't know how lucky he is. So we have now realized that there is way more life in the 50-55 foot range than there was in the 70-75 foot range. So we move it in a little bit shallower, and we have run out of fish frames. So we need some more chum if we want to keep this party going, and there's plenty Nainui around that have been eating all the chum and bullying the other fish. So I target one of them and haul them in. And that's the first Nainui I've shot in a very long time, but they do make for really great chum, and we're going to see what happens with this guy. And I don't know why it's always so gnarly to see fish cannibalizing each other. This fish was just hanging out with all of his buddies, and all of his buddies watched him get shot, and now they're eating him, and there's no complaints there. Pretty gnarly, but it's bringing a lot of other fish in too, including those fat moo. And I decided to rip this one up mostly with my hands because chumming with a knife for some reason really wears out your grip, which affects your breath hold in a more significant way than you think. I don't know why. And then sure enough, on Jake's next dive, he was down hiding in the boulders with all this chum around, and that moo came in. He took a really long lunge and a long shot, and he hit it. And he thought he had it, but it was so big that it ripped itself off. And I watched it from the surface, and I watched it shoot into these holes. So I'm looking around into these holes looking for him, and I find this monster bug down here, a big old lobster. He's probably 4 or 5 pounds. I try to poke him back to see if I can get a better angle on him, and I find him right in here. Look at the size of that thing. I'm thinking he's probably backed up into a corner and I can grab him by the horns, but he immediately gives me the slip. He was way too big, way too strong, and I don't have it in me. I gotta head up. We spent a considerable amount of time looking through those boulders drop after drop for more bugs and for that moo, and it just didn't happen. So Jake goes down here and he lines up on something underneath that rock and he takes a shot. In order for Jake to shoot into a hole, it must be a pretty nice fish. So let's see what he's got.
But I shot through the cave. So we swam up. So I could see the shaft on the other side.
So while that shaft is going to take a bit of extraction, he wants to make sure he secures the fish first. So he swims down and he pulls the fish off the line to make sure he gets on the kui, and then he'll deal with the shaft later by untying it, disconnecting it, pulling it through, and then retying it at the surface.
I was staring through the hole when I was down there, and I could see the other. If an oveo swims through the hole, I will shoot. And that's what happened.
Beauty.
So now we've been out here for about 5 hours, maybe more, and we're getting pretty tired, so we're starting to head back because we have a long ways to go. So I only have a few drops left in me, and I only have 2 fish on my kui. I got them early on, and I just went hours without shooting anything other than that single Nainui. But I would really like to get a few more fish on this kui before we call it a day. And usually floating around out in the water this time of year for about 6 hours, which is what it ended up being, I would get cold, my feet would hurt, my legs would be crampy, I would feel really exhausted. But with the new suit, I was feeling very comfortable and very warm. I never got cold once. And my new fins, I felt like there was nothing on my feet. They were so comfortable. I got no blisters. My legs don't hurt. My calves didn't hurt. So I'm really happy with this. I can't believe how high quality everything is. My new watch is working well. My shaft is shooting straight. So I had everything in order today. And while I don't have a whole lot of fish yet, I was able to relax and really enjoy myself out here and get some good practice in. And speaking of practice, I'm practicing holding my breath and laying on the bottom and looking at fish. That's what I'm practicing right now because I haven't shot a whole lot of fish today, and I was hoping to, but it's still wonderful being out here. It's still pretty. I'm gonna head back up. I'm not done yet. And since that Nainui chum worked so well before and brought that moo in, I'm thinking I'm gonna try it again. There's still tons of Nainui around. Some of them are really big, so I see that guy come in, gives him a pretty easy shot, and I give him a tap. He spins around that shaft, let me know I got a good shot on him, and I haul him up to the surface to go chum him up too. And he's a bit bigger than the last one, so we have a lot more chum this time. So we chop that guy up and we give it a few minutes to sink down, and a bunch of moonus come in the bottom, and we're back over a little bit deeper zone here. It's about 60 feet or so, and I see some fat moonus from the surface. Jake's got a few fish, so he lets me take the first drop on them. And I'm gonna make my way down here really slowly, and I have a good feeling about this. I know that it's gonna happen as long as I set myself up well. And then right here, my camera died. Unfortunately, I forgot my camera on a few times that day. I'm usually really good about that, but it did kill the battery. And what was kind of funny is that on that drop, I shot a monster munu. And on the next drop after that, I shot another one. And on the next drop after that, I shot a third one. And then we called it a day. You know, I don't have that footage, obviously, because my camera died, but it looked kind of something like this. And digging through some old footage, I found this from last year. That's a fat munu right there in a very different coast, but kind of a similar shot to the one I just took. And then here's what would have been the second one I shot on this day. Long shot, another fat munu. And then a third one for your imagination just to make the footage add up. And because I had a little extra footage from last month that I haven't used before, I'm just going to throw that in here for a little extra bonus. All right. I believe this was actually Christmas Day. Megan and I went out for a little bit of a kick around for a short amount of time, and I spotted this taco early on from the surface, and he ran into a hole. I poked him out and got a hold of him. He fought me really hard. Good fighter, good mana, good energy in that guy. And we love eating taco. It's probably my favorite seafood. They're highly sustainable. They're really, really good for you. They taste amazing. So nothing goes to waste on these guys. I love them. And while I wasn't doing a whole lot of hunting this day, I did want to take a fish home. So I ran into this Akule ball. I threw my spoon as a flasher. There's a lot of fish around. I'm not really concerned about what I take home. I just wanted to eat a little bit of fish. And there's a bunch of palanis around. Palanis are really good eating. They're easy to shoot. They're pretty big. The meat is fantastic. So I have no problem shooting a palani here and there. So I'm going to sneak up on this guy, take kind of a long shot, wait for him to give me the right angle, and I tapped him. Only fish of the day. Got a fish and a taco. Good enough for me. We'll call that a day. A little bit of bonus footage for you guys. I took that hard quartering away shot and the shaft came right out of his mouth. And there's Megan going down to practice a dive, swimming with a bait ball and having the time of her life. What's up, girl? Get some. You. Oh, what you got here? Some miscellaneous reef fish?
Miscellaneous reef fish. Going in the bag. Choose your own adventure when you start cooking.
Gigantic munus.
Yeah. Big ones today.
All right. That's a broomtail. That's why they call them broomtail. They're a type of triggerfish, and I don't shoot them very often. They're kind of similar to mahi. They're really underrated. They're really easy to shoot, but because I didn't have any fish early, I had to take them, and I thought it'd make a really unique catch and cook. So let's fillet that guy. It's kind of leathery, like shark skin. We can fillet it like any other fish. Cut behind the head at an angle.
There's not a lot of meat on them.
Maybe a good skin to make a drum out of.
It would, yeah. So there's no scales. It's just like leather. And they're very pretty underwater. They taste kind of like mahi, but they have these weird patches of that meat that we don't need to eat. But I know who wants that. Yep. So in other parts of the world, like Florida, they don't eat those because they have a very powerful neurotoxin. They can carry it and it can kill you. We don't have that here, so we can eat them. What's it called, Jake?
Palytoxin.
Palytoxin?
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if you're in Florida, don't eat those. If you're in Hawaii, they're all right. And here's a training tip that's gonna help you both on dry land and in the water. And it combines my two favorite things, a breath hold and carry and weight. So we're gonna do an apnea farmer's carry. You're just gonna do a single or double-sided suitcase deadlift. When you get to the top, you're gonna take a big inhale, exhale all of your air through your nose. When you're empty on air, walk as long as you can until you get a strong urge to breathe. Take your big inhale gently, put the weights down safely, and do a few reps of that. A few sets a week is really all it takes to notice a significant improvement in your posture, your gait, and your breath hold. All right.
There is no greater exercise for overall physical health and performance than the Russian-style kettlebell swing.
I'm gonna make this one up. There's probably a name for it. I'm sure somebody's done it before. But we're gonna take the top of a mason jar lid. We're gonna take that broomfish. And we're gonna do something a little bit different this time. We're just gonna cut this into little strips. And that may sit in the inside of that. Excellent, just like that. Okay, we'll start by punching some holes in here. Just gonna press down on that. Look how nice and neat that pops out, just like that. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 each. Now we have that pan preheating. Throw a thick, healthy slab of butter in there as usual. Don't be afraid to overdo it. Just saying. And then in the meantime, while that's heating up, we're gonna get this pan going with some more butter so we can heat up these. So have something hot and toasty to put that on. So for now, we can throw this right in here. I'll throw a second one inside of that. I'm gonna let that cook for a minute. Get the second one going. Just gonna go ahead and tuck that inside of there. Get the second smaller piece. Now we have a nice circle. Let that cook, and then we'll throw an egg in there. Using here. Now we wait. All right, this has been cooking for a couple minutes, just starting to get cooked. Now I'm just going to cover these. So I'm just going to throw a little splash of water in there to steam it. So I'm going to lift the lid up. Boom. And then we won't have to flip them. All right, these are looking pretty ready. They're just a little bit loose on top, so they're still soft. And we can shut these off. Should be able to lift right off. Yow! Now we're just gonna grate some cheese on there. We're gonna use Havarti. I don't know if it matters what cheese you use. This is what we like. Make it messy. Sriracha. A little garnish of sprouts. And of course, sprinkle of fotokake. A touch of sushi sauce. All right, here we go. Alrighty, let's give this a go. I haven't eaten broomtail in a long time. It's kind of a unique, funny catch and cook, I think, but that's basically why I shot it. I lined up on it today and I was thinking, well, that would make a really interesting catch and cook. I don't have any fish yet, so it worked out really well. It's really similar to mahi, if I remember right, but I just came up with this recipe because I didn't know what else to do today. Pretty excited about it. Wow, okay, yeah, that is surprisingly good. Like the whole thing together. It's kind of like a Benedict. I'd say that about a lot of things, I guess. But I mean it. That is really, really good. So, wildly out in the water. Again, didn't work out exactly like I hoped it would, but had a great time. Funny, interesting catch and cook. And hope you guys like it. Thank you so much for everybody's support. Everybody that likes, comments, subscribes. Super appreciate you guys helping the channel grow. Keeps me motivated. I love doing this. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.